How's it going, guys? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back again today. It's News Friday. So I'm going to talk about another gaming news related topic this week. Today, I have to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. And I have to give my opinion on this and dispel all this false news, false information going out in the community at the moment. So this week, the CD Projekt Red basically had their latest earnings report, and they had a teleconference in which during that teleconference, they were talking about Cyberpunk 2077, more specifically the multiplayer element. So back in September, CD Projekt Red confirmed that Cyberpunk 2077 would have some kind of multiplayer mode, and that was in development. They did say that it would be a completely separate feature, and that the actual single player experience would come out first in April, along with its free DLC and probably its paid DLC as well. And then some point later down the road, a multiplayer element of the game would come out. Now, whether this would be a completely separate download or separate element, maybe if it's an update or part of the release, we don't know how they're going to actually release it. But they did confirm that would be the case. Now, within this earnings report, they were asked about their plans for monetization when it came to the multiplayer element of the game. And after that, there's been a lot of response to it. There's been a lot of news articles. There's been a lot of YouTubers weighing in on it. And there's been a lot of false information. A lot of people scaremongering. A lot of people saying that, CD Projekt Red announced that there would be microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077. People overreacting and going out and cancelling their pre-orders and saying, I'm not paying this, and accusing CD Projekt Red of betraying the consumer and betraying gamers. And I'm sorry, I have to say right now, that is not what was announced. So CD Projekt Red did not announce that they were planning to do microtransactions. They did not confirm that. I want you to listen specifically to what they said.
Yeah, and as far as the monetization on the multiplayer for Cyberpunk is concerned, we believe right now it's definitely too early to share any details on that or give guidance. The project is in relatively early stage. We keep experimenting. That's our first multiplayer game. And we check different options and possibilities. And it's definitely not the time to point you to a certain specific direction on that.
Yes, but you can expect that we won't change our general policy toward deals with gamers, so expect wise monetization and always value for money.
So there you have it. They basically said they were looking at it. So they're looking and reviewing monetization. Now, monetization doesn't necessarily mean microtransactions. Microtransactions are a form of monetization, when it comes to cosmetics or loot boxes or anything like that. They've not announced that. They said that they are going to look at their options in terms of monetization. Now, we don't know yet. It's all in development. It's things that they're still reviewing. Monetization could mean things like they charge a fee for this version of the game, for the multiplayer, that you actually have to pay for it. It's an expansion, so you pay and download that. It's a one-off payment maybe. They might do something like a battle pass scenario, like Call of Duty, where you pay for the battle pass, and that gives you access to extra content, extra downloadable maps and skins and weapons and that kind of thing. Or, they might choose that it's completely free to play, and they are going to introduce things like microtransactions where you can buy cosmetics to help finance, that side of the game. So they haven't said how they're going to monetize it. They haven't said that anything is involving microtransactions. They certainly haven't mentioned loot boxes, and everything's very up in the air. What they have said, though, is that yes, they are considering monetization, but they have said that it's going to be wise and that it is going to offer value for money. So long as it offers that value for money, so long as you know exactly what you're buying up front and there are no loot boxes involved, so long as these cosmetics, if they are offering cosmetics to buy, so long as these are decent value. Say, for example, 75 cents to buy a skin, or £1 to buy a particular weapon skin, or something like that. I'm fine with that kind of thing. It's the microtransactions that are excessive microtransactions is what is plaguing the industry at the moment. And that is what gamers have an issue with, charging £20 for a skin, charging £10 for a dot, as a reticule, charging £15 for a weapon, having, pay to win mechanics in your games, that kind of thing. Those are the things I have issues with, and those are the things that gamers have issues with as general. And CD Projekt Red have not said any of that. They've not mentioned any of that. I will be the first to jump on them. I will be the first to criticize them if they do decide to introduce excessive microtransactions into the game. If they do decide to go down the route of loot boxes, I will absolutely call them out on that, because that is wrong. But I have to say, as all companies go, if there's any company that you're going to give the benefit of the doubt to, CD Projekt Red is probably the company that you would do that to. They have a long history of building and fostering a very close relationship with their gamers, with their fan base. They have always offered great experiences. They have always offered excellent value for money. They've never really done anything in their business practices which was about exploiting gamers. For them, it's always been about the game, and whatever they do is it sort of supporting that game and that experience. I mean, when we looked at The Witcher 3, that offered so much value for money with its paid DLC, and it was incredible value for money. I mean, Christ, the DLC, I think it was like £10 for a DLC content that was over 10, 15, 20 hours worth of content, which is almost, better quality than some of the games that were coming out at that time. So I think CD Projekt Red have earned the benefit of the doubt. I think if this was coming from Activision or EA, promising these wise monetization and value for money, you might be a little bit skeptical. You might be expecting at some point that they're going to pull the rug out from under you, that there's some secret hidden trick or trap involved in there. But when it comes to, CD Projekt Red, they've proven themselves in the past to be a developer that respects their community and really doesn't try. They're not a developer that I consider to be greedy. They're not someone I would expect to implement monetization simply for monetization's sake. Now, this isn't the single player. They have confirmed multiple times that the single player experience will not have any microtransactions. They're going to have some monetization in the form of paid DLC. But there's going to be a lot of free DLC with that game as well. And, even in a tweet back in, I think, 2017, they were asked, about monetization and did, specifically say that the single player would have no form of microtransactions. I think when they were asked on Twitter, they even said, worry not, when thinking about Cyberpunk 2077, think nothing less than The Witcher 3. Huge single player, open world, story driven RPG. No hidden catch. You get what you pay for. No bullshit. Just honest gaming like with Wild Hunt. We leave greed to others. So, the single player is still going to be a great experience. It's not going to have microtransactions and things in there like that. I think, don't worry about that side of things. Of course, the multiplayer is a completely different element to the game. Myself, personally, I'm predominantly interested in the single player experience. That's what I'm most looking forward to. That's what I'm most anticipating. And I can't wait to play that single player experience. And that experience is confirmed. It's not going to have, hidden monetization and microtransactions. It'll have a lot of free DLC content, massive value for money. And then if they are going to expand upon the world and offer story DLC, it will be paid DLC, but it will be such value for money that it will be worth the asking price. Exactly the same as Witcher 3, and I'm happy to hear that with that. Obviously, the multiplayer element, that's a separate thing that they have to support and they have to develop. Of course, they're going to have to pay for those servers. They're going to have to pay for the workforce and the resources that are going into developing that. At the end of the day, CD Projekt Red are a business. I have no issues with some form of monetization, so long as it's reasonable and good value for money and it doesn't rip the player off. If they charge an access fee to get into that multiplayer, and that comes out later, I'm fine with that. If they do some kind of battle pass system, I'm okay with that. If they implement some kind of microtransaction for cosmetics and things like that, so long as they're reasonably priced, I'm okay with that too. As long as they're not taking, the mick and not taking advantage of people. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a business and they still have to pay their staff, wages. It costs a lot of money to make and develop these games, and of course I want to support CD Projekt Red financially, and for them to be able to make other single player great experiences in the future. So you've got to be realistic to a degree. They can't just charge you nothing for the multiplayer and charge you nothing for the game and you get everything for free. That just isn't realistic. They have to charge something, whether it's an asking price or whether it's putting in, these smaller microtransactions. They've got to find some way to balance that between, covering the cost of the development and the staff and the continued support of that multiplayer, which will need to continue. It's not like just creating a single player game and releasing it and maybe then patching it in later. Multiplayer games take a lot of support, and they take a team of people to maintain those servers and keep content coming to keep people playing it, and that takes money and resources. So you need to continue to support that in some financial way. So yeah, of course they're going to consider monetization. I'd be really surprised if they weren't considering some kind of monetization. But let's be clear here, guys. Monetization does not mean microtransactions. Does not mean loot boxes. And does not mean excessive microtransactions, and we've got to bear that in mind. So please, look at this in a logical way. Don't jump the gun. Don't cancel your pre-order yet. Don't panic. Don't worry. Let's wait and see what CD Projekt Red have to say. Let's wait and see when we get more details revealed closer to the time. Don't worry. The single player element of the game is still fine. It's still going to be a great experience, and you can still have faith that CD Projekt Red are going to release a great single player experience. I don't think that's a problem or an issue at all. But let's wait and see on the multiplayer side of things and see obviously what CD Projekt come up with. It is their first multiplayer experience, so they're completely new to it. So it's going to be a learning curve for them, as well as for their fan base and for their community. But I just wanted to say, and call out these people online. Don't scaremonger. Don't release this false information and say that microtransactions are coming to Cyberpunk 2077, because that isn't what CD Projekt Red said. And if you really are a good reporter and are responsible, then you should be making people clear and aware of that. Don't just scaremonger just for the sake of clicks. I can't stand people that do that. There's just no integrity there at all. So I want to call those people out and just say, please stop. You're not helping anything. You're just causing fear and fear mongering and attacking CD Projekt Red when they don't really deserve to be attacked in that way. They haven't done anything yet to deserve that. And I don't think they're going to do anything to deserve that. I think CD Projekt Red are a great developer, and I think they do respect their fan base, and I do think, they are very connected to the community, and they know that microtransactions is a very, very, very dangerous area to go down. They know the ridicule, they know the backlash they're going to get if they introduce loot boxes and everything. They know that. I don't think they're going to be stupid enough to do that. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. But I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinion on that today. So those are my thoughts on the announcement. To do with, Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer and its monetization. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What do you think about all this news? What do you think about the way it's been presented on the internet, online? What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on the multiplayer? Are you interested in it? And what do you think is, reasonable for monetization? What forms of monetization are you okay with? We all know what we hate, but I'd be interested to hear what people consider to be acceptable forms of monetization and what you would be willing to pay or support to support the multiplayer side of it, and even what you'd like to see in a multiplayer Cyberpunk game. Get a conversation going. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be back again with more videos. I've got a couple of videos planned in December going up into Christmas, so please look forward to those. Hope you guys are having a great week. Take care, of course, guys, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.